Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. Boy, do we have a busy morning in store. Not only do we have local, we have statewide issues as well as, of course, national issues. Already got our first virtual wave. If you'd like to weigh in on the Epstein document dump, you can. We probably will not have time to get to that. Still some information coming out there. Also, we are going to talk about Trump challenging the Colorado decision. So that's coming up in just a little bit. First, from yesterday, we were talking about Harvard president or former Harvard president Gay resigning, but yet still keeping a job on the faculty at an estimated $900,000 a year. I did not realize, it came up yesterday, did not have a chance to really dive into it. Did you see that former President Barack Obama was trying to defend her, trying to stick up for her behind closed doors? It was not enough. She did resign. And the question was, of course, she was playing in a way, well, her and the media painting her as the victim, saying it was basically a right-wing attack because of plagiarism. Now, we know the standards at Harvard of plagiarism are pretty strict if you're a student. Apparently not so much if you're going for president. So this viewer asked yesterday, wondering if background checks are a thing of the past because someone may have their feelings hurt. It's a fair question, except for if we're talking about background checks for ammunition in New York State. Because no, I don't think anybody cares in Albany about anybody's feelings being hurt, even if the information presented of your past is not factually accurate. And they delay your ammunition purchase, as we heard from a lot of people, especially around deer season, saying that happened to them, where it was long, extended periods of time before they could get their ammunition. I don't think Albany cares if your feelings are hurt, but I understand your point, as in background checks, looking for a job. That could be, because look at, and I know I'm just going to New York State here, but look at the new law that erases your criminal record. Meaning that your employer or a place that you're going to rent, they can't see your criminal background. Well, is that because they don't want the former criminals' feelings hurt? What is the end game in that? So maybe that is the reason that they never gave us behind that decision. Anyway, I shudder to think of what we don't know, said the viewer. Yes, I think that on a lot of avenues. Politics and elsewhere, but in this case, yeah, you do wonder. That's one example, one president of one university, but we've seen the rot on college campuses throughout the country since Hamas attacked Israel. And we saw it before, but that's when it really came to the forefront. Now, thank you for that. And as always, you can reach out. You see the number on the bottom of your screen. You can reach out and comment on the topics that we'll be discussing this morning or at any point throughout the day as well. I wanted to, and we'll have the sheriff on soon. I want to mention this before we go to our first break. The sheriff, and I know I joke with him when he's on the program, that's Steuben County Sheriff, excuse me, because we've had Chemung County Sheriff Schramm on quite a few times as well. But Sheriff Allard, we've heard about the back and forth with the legislature, and I told you how some things changed there at the Steuben County Legislature yesterday, and they're still going through the system with Allard taking one section of that resolution to court, the other resolution changed. We don't have the time to go through all of that, okay? But what I wanted to say is that when we have Sheriff Allard on the program, we very often mention his monthly newsletter. It's a great newsletter. It goes out to the media. You may be able to see it other places, and it kind of shows you what the sheriff's office has been doing. But I thought this was a nice sentiment right at the beginning of the newsletter, the first paragraph. And again, if you want to go find old episodes of Frankly Speaking, you can find out all about what was going on with the legislature. We went in depth with it, with the sheriff on, without him on. So I don't mean to rush it and keep you hanging if you're not familiar with the story, but we have a lot to cover this morning. So it's a beautiful day in Steuben County, Sheriff Allard writes. Happy New Year. Yesterday, and I got this yesterday, so 2 days ago, January 2nd, 2024, was a historic day in Steuben County. For the first time in the 228-year history of Steuben County, a female chair of the legislature was elected to lead our legislature. Congratulations to Steuben County Legislative Chair Kelly Fitzpatrick. We all look forward to responsible and transparent leadership in our county government and wish you and Vice Chair Cool every success in your new roles. And there's a lot more there. 2 pages. They had a very busy December, and I hope to talk to the sheriff soon. I'll have to reach out to him. Okay, we got to take our first break. Stay with us. Again, weigh in at any point. We're just getting started here on Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before. Hammered pans are ultra non-stick and they're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie or this whole chicken dinner. Use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips right out. Plus the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop 1 payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-608-1538 or go to buyhammered.com.
Starting to see a little snow fly. You'll notice I received a text during break, another virtual wave. Thank you so much. On the New York side of things, just quickly, Governor Hochul, I just learned this morning going to Empire Report, has hurt her arm lifting weights. So if you see her at any press conferences, she does need a sling. Listen to this headline from the, or not headline, but the beginning of the article from the Daily News. Governor Hochul may be the most powerful person in New York State, but she still has her limits in the weight room. Something she learned the hard way on Tuesday. Hochul, wearing a white sling at an event in upstate on Wednesday, said she had torn her pectoral muscle lifting weights in the gym a day earlier. She said the mishap came after she pursued a New Year's resolution. They always say that is a little dangerous, right? People that are maybe going a little bit too hard at the beginning of the year, trying to get that resolution going. She tried to lift 80 pounds up from her usual 70. She further inflamed the tear at the doctor's office. She said, "I'm not ready to play with the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. I'm going to have to be on injured reserve," she joked to reporters. "I thought for my New Year's resolution I could go to 80, and my body said no to 80. Speaking of New York, I don't know why I brought that up. I just saw the headline. But lawmakers are going to focus at the beginning, it says here, on housing and migration. They have already warned in numerous articles this could be a very testy session, legislative session. They're kicking off a legislative session that could be overshadowed by what's expected to be a tumultuous election year. Yes, you've got that to focus on as well. And, of course, on some big ticket items that could get a little hairy. Okay, there's your quick update on New York. Yes, it's going to be one of those mornings where you're going to get everything in on the show. Oh, as an update from yesterday, I mentioned Bob Menendez. Bob Menendez having more charges put against him. We're not sure the time frame. I tried to do a little research. He has not backed out of running for re-election. Of course, you saw the pictures of the gold bars, and this most recent charge was something like Formula One race tickets or something like that. But just to highlight a little bit about what's going on in the media in general, and this is MSNBC, so I understand we expect a bias here. But at MSNBC, as they're reporting it, I should say, all the news on Bob Menendez, it happened to be during his daughter's guest host gig. Yes, his daughter was guest hosting. It is interesting how many family members, or specifically former advisors to Democrat politicians, or people like Chris Christie, the wannabe Democrat politicians who get these jobs, or Joe Scarborough, who get these jobs after the fact in the mainstream media. But this was MSNBC. Anchor Alicia Menendez found herself in an awkward position, breaking the news of her embattled father's latest legal troubles. Alicia Menendez was filling in for Nicole Wallace as host of Deadline, White House, when the Department of Justice slapped the senator with the superseding indictment. The senator's daughter said, "We have to take a quick break," which it was in the last 5 minutes, so that may be a little bit odd, the last 5 minutes of a 2-hour stint. And we'll be right back with some breaking news right after this. I'm not laughing at that, just the awkwardness of it. After the commercial ended, Menendez was no longer on camera, and host Ari Melber greeted viewers with the latest allegations against the senator and the anchor right before him, father. Whew. The timing on that could have probably been a little bit better. All right, we have to take another short break. We're going to talk about Trump and asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn the Colorado ruling. Tell you a little bit what the mainstream media has to say on this, a little bit about what some other politicians are saying, what Trump is saying. So stay with us. We're just starting. So sit back and relax. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Down he goes, and the ball is out. Penn State might have this.
College football every Saturday on Big Fox. Brought to you in part by Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships in Mansfield.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
Are you to become Hell's Kitchen winner? What happened tonight completely surprised me.
All new Hell's Kitchen. Then it's the Lego Masters Smash-a-thon.
The top smashes and crashes. You can't get this kind of excitement on The Masked Singer.
Another beautiful day on Marcus Street. Starting to see maybe a little bit of snow there. Be careful on your way into school or your way into work. I'm Frank Hakam. This is Frankly Speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. So glad that you joined us. So Trump has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn the Colorado ruling, removing him from the ballot. They're not even necessarily hiding anymore in the fact, in these various articles. This from CNN. I think I have two from CNN, actually. Wanting to send the message, and this has happened in the past with other major decisions, sending the message to the Supreme Court, hey, you better go along the way that we want you to go along. Eric Olson, one of the Colorado attorneys arguing against Trump's eligibility, said on CNN's The Source that he expects the Supreme Court to take up the case and is optimistic that the justices will see that there really isn't a close case here. I think this court has shown a willingness to step aside from sort of the partisan frame on these hard issues that are important to our democracy. I understand he's a lawyer trying to get Trump off the ballot. But when has the Supreme Court, though by the media, been called fair or step aside from partisan frame? I guess that's a message saying, hey, you want to kind of be liked temporarily? Find our way, because they have been called so many despicable names and been challenged so many times because, again, the media not liking the decisions that they're making because there is a conservative lean to the court. Donald Trump has formally asked the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn the Colorado State Supreme Court ruling. In our system of government, of the people, by the people, and for the people, Colorado's ruling is not and cannot be corrected, the former president's attorney said. The rule cannot be correct. I say correct. It cannot be correct. The Supreme Court is facing mounting pressure to settle the question. Yeah, there is a lot of pressure there because you're talking about Super Tuesday coming up on March 5th, which will be here in no time. But back to the media's coverage of this. Julian Zelzer, in his piece, calling it Trump's real vulnerability. And he goes through and kind of talks about the race itself, the primary, the general election. But he says right now, Trump has a dominant lead in the race for the Republican nomination. We will soon learn if the polls are right about his lead. So you're already casting doubt that maybe there's, maybe he won't win it. But if they are, meaning the polls are correct, then the likely place to look for a game change, meaning sending the signal to viewers of CNN, you're going to be heartbroken at first, but don't worry, because we're depending on the court. Yes, the place to look for a game change isn't at the ballot box. Think of this line. But in a court of law. Again, pushing the idea that Trump is a threat to democracy, and that's going to be what, and we're not saying it, his own people are saying it, that's what Biden is going to be running on. The first few places he's visiting here in the new year are going to be places that are kind of, if you want to call them, dark days in American history. We'll talk about that if we have an opportunity. So we know that that's what he's going to run on. But imagine that same party running on that also saying something like, to look for a game change isn't at the ballot box, but in a court of law. And the irony in some of this, and this isn't a biased opinion, I'm saying whether you like Trump or whether you don't like Trump, how does this sit on your ears? Let's say you hate Trump. And please, you see the number on the bottom of the screen. I'd love to read your comments. So let's say you hate Trump. Do you feel this is the avenue to go down? Because what this has led to, and we're going to get to this in just a moment, but unfortunately is what we predicted on this program day one, and I'm not exaggerating, day one when this news broke, which was the slippery slope idea. We said, well, what if we go after Biden? What if Republicans go after Biden? And then it wasn't a few days later where DeSantis said, and he has a piece here where he said, well, what about it like at the border? He greenlit the border. This is his quote. He greenlit 8 million illegals invading this country. Is he eligible to be on the ballot? Now, this was just said hypothetically to show how wrong this decision could be in the history of things. But it's gotten even worse because now we're seeing it on other ballots. Wait till you hear this. We're going to get to that. But one other thing on Ron DeSantis. He says it's just absurd to remove his name from the ballot of states that are rejecting Trump. I'm not going to unilaterally cede because if you recall, Ramaswamy had said that all candidates should remove their name from the ballot if Trump isn't going to be on, to kind of show a solidarity for what they believe is wrong or undemocratic. Well, DeSantis is not, he's not behind that idea. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., again, remember, I'm going to talk about this, where it's basically all began. Where now, okay, one state greenlit it, then Maine went after it. You're looking maybe for attention, maybe whatever. Then you have other people running in states saying, well, I could do this to my opponent because they were a Trump supporter. So you could see where this unravels, and this was the real fear from the beginning. And I had said when the Colorado decision came down, whether or not you like Trump, that should not matter in this. You've got to look towards, I suppose, the future of this country, not the instant gratification, if you recall me saying that on the program. Robert F. Kennedy who is on the, as far as I know, the only ballot he's on so far, that's not a knock, so far is Utah. He got on recently in Utah. They asked him, do you think he should, meaning Trump, should be taken off the ballot for insurrection charges? He said, I think it's wrong-headed. I think it's counterproductive. I'm not a fan of President Trump. That's why I'm running against him. But I don't want, and I'm confident that I'm going to beat him. I don't want to beat him on a slanted playing field. I think the American people want to see a fair fight. They want debates. They want real democracy. They want to be able to choose their candidate, their president, not have a court choose it. And I would also add, if I could add on to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I think a lot of people were upset too that you have in Colorado where those judges are appointed by Democrat governors, so they have never received a vote to get to where they're at. I mean, maybe in other things, but I'm saying for the position they're in right then, never receiving a vote. And yet they're deciding who can be on the ballot and who cannot. Same kind of with Maine. They're elected, or that person was elected, not they, it wasn't the court. She was elected by the legislature, not by necessarily individuals. Now, the irony of that is the Supreme Court, of course, appointed as well. But I do think it's worth noting. So let's go back to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. before I take my break. I'm quoting him if you're just joining us. And as you point out, I've read the decision, and it makes no sense to me that you could deprive an American citizen of this right. Right, meaning Trump, but also the American citizens, the people, the right to vote for who they want. We're unprecedented without ever charging him with a much less, that's a weird way of putting it. We are unprecedented without ever charging him with a much less, or I think it's supposed to be with or much less, convicting him of insurrection. He is not even charged with it. You know, that seems to violate due process, and it makes us look like a banana republic. And that's why I bring up this quote. I thought that was a very good line. So, yes, there's no due process here. As a matter of fact, when the Senate took it up, he was not found guilty. But I'll continue. And by the way, I think it's going to hurt the people who are behind it. Another point we've been making early on from this program. I think it turns Trump in a kind of, that people know it's unfair, and it turns him into kind of amplifies it. Him as a mythological figure. I think the word Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was looking for there, or maybe not. Maybe he chose these words for that mythological figure, but the martyr, right? It's what Trump has been saying from the beginning. It's when he said, I'm one indictment away from the White House, essentially. This turns him into the martyr, where people say, and I brought this up on the program a lot, and it was Joe Sempolinski who said it, that you may not like Trump, but you really don't like a court or some non-elected official or some bureaucrat telling you who you can and cannot vote for. In this case, literally taking the person off the ballot. So it does, I believe, to Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s point, hurts the people that are behind it. And I've been saying that from the program, on this program from the beginning, and I'm hoping someone can weigh in and disagree. If you are just don't like Trump, I won't use the word hate. If you just don't like Trump, you don't want to vote for him. Do you think this helps that cause? I don't think it helps when we start to see other states doing it, and not just against Trump, but against congressional candidates like that. When you start to see that, people go, wait a minute. This is the party that's pushing pro-democracy, and that Trump's the threat to democracy? But anyway, I think it's very short-sighted, and it's just wrong. It's un-American. So that's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. When we come back, we're going to talk to you about the first Republican representative who could now follow Trump in getting removed from the ballot. Yes, it has begun. The slippery slope moves fast. So stay with us. We'll be right back. We're Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready, we're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
Stay tuned. This 5-piece bakeware set, a $60 value, absolutely free. Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before.
Gosh, what I love most about this design is this hammered copper look. It would just look so fantastic hanging in my kitchen.
Wow, this is a beautiful pan. It looks great. Look at those eggs dancing around in there. I tell you, I'm sold. Where do I get these? I love them.
Hammered pans are ultra non-stick. Nothing sticks. Even gooey mac and cheese slips out with ease. And look, these sticky candies melted with a torch are no match for hammered pans. Plus, they're super durable, so use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips out and a pan that looks just like new. They're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie, cheesy lasagna, or this whole chicken dinner. Any recipe looks great in these pans. From steak flambe to delicious desserts and delicate fish, nothing sticks. Plus, the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Similar sets are over $1,000, but you won't pay that. Not $500 or even $300. Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop one payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99, and we'll even guarantee it for a full 10 years. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. Together, these are an $80 value, yours 100% free. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
To order, call 1-800-603-3404 or go to buyhammered.com. That's 1-800-603-3404, or you can order online at buyhammered.com.
And we are back, frankly speaking, here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. Again, thank you for joining us. So as I said, it begins where the first Republican representative could soon follow Trump in getting removed from the ballot. This is according to Newsweek and by reporter Ewan Palmer. A lawsuit has been filed against Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry, aiming to remove him from the 2024 primary ballot with the same insurrection argument used to disqualify Donald Trump in 2 states. I think it's interesting that many of the articles originally had said something like, well, a little known clause. And now all of a sudden people are quoting it like gospel. But Gene Stilp, who we're going to talk about in just a moment, who ran in for Congress in Pennsylvania as a Democrat, is seeking to have the Republican banned from running for office over claims he violated the Constitution's insurrection clause. Here's an important point to this. Perry has not been charged with any offense, but did have his phone seized by the FBI in August of 2022 as part of Special Counsel Jack Smith's federal election obstruction investigation. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 4 charges in that case. So now if they seize your cell phone as part of an investigation, you can no longer run for office. Think about this. Think of the slippery slope. The lawsuit alleges that Perry's attempt to keep Trump in power after he lost the 2020 election is a violation of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which you've heard enough about by now. Now, Jonathan Turley this morning has a piece at the New York Post. It's not just Trump. Democrats are moving to bar Republicans from ballots nationwide. I would add moving the bar as well. This is what we had. I know I keep saying this is what we had predicted. But it was so obvious. It wasn't even like some type of smart prediction. It was so crystal clear how this could be misused at the presidential level, but now, of course, at the just nationwide level. This goes back to Trump's talking point that, you know, the deep state and these people are out to get him. But then when you start to see, and then he will say that I'm taking this on for you. I'm taking this fight for you. And that resonated with a lot of people. Isn't that what he's saying here, or could say here? I'm taking this on for you, but now look, it's gone to others. So Jonathan Turley says, and Jonathan Turley he's a professor, he's an attorney and professor at George Washington University Law School. I couldn't remember where he's at, but as the decision disqualifying former Trump from the 2024 election worked their ways through the courts, a new filing in Pennsylvania seeks the same ballot cleansing by barring Representative Scott Perry. It's only the latest effort targeting congressional candidates as Democrats seek to bar opponents as insurrectionists. So just supporting Trump in some ways, is that the next Is that the next step in disqualifying somebody from the ballot? I'm being serious. I'm not asking. This isn't hyperbole. I'm being serious. Will that be the next step? Where, well, I haven't been charged with anything because Trump hasn't been found guilty of anything. There's no due process, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said. And just like Turley or someone, who else said it? But it doesn't matter. A lot of people said it. So if there has been no due process, can you say, well, that person running for city council against me, he had a Trump sign in his yard. I remember it distinctly. Here's a picture. Take him off the ballot. I know that sounds absurd, but that's kind of how slippery slopes work. Now, will it go to that extreme? Maybe not. Probably not. But in this case, it only took a couple weeks, and already you're seeing it at the congressional level. Think about that. Now, this is interesting. Former congressional candidate Gene Stilp, he's the one that, I guess, what would you file these charges? He in the past made headlines by burning MAGA flags with swastikas outside of courthouses. That's the level of person we're dealing with here. But what's chilling, says Jonathan Turley, is how much support these efforts get, including Democratic office holders from Maine Secretary of State to dozens of members of Congress. New Jersey Representative Bill Pascrell sought to bar 126 members of Congress under the same theory for challenging the election before January 6th. Representative Cori Bush, similar legislation to disqualify members, and got 63 co-sponsors, of course, all Democrats. When Maine Secretary of State disqualified Trump, 3 in the state's congressional delegation, Angus King, Susan Collins, and Jared Golden, condemned the decision, but others supported the anti-democratic action. This again coming from Jonathan Turley, if you're just joining us. But if you go back, if you look at the history of this, this idea of challenging elections. Now, we know that really Hillary Clinton challenged the results of the election for the full 4 years, correct? And then they point to former Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Dick Durbin, who praised the efforts of then-Senator Barbara Boxer, who organized a challenge to the certification of President George W. Bush's 2004 re-election. And as a matter of fact, January 6th committee head Benny Thompson voted to challenge it in the House. And Representative Jamie Haskins sought to block certification of the 2016 election results, particularly ironic since he's a leading voice calling for Trump to be disqualified. He insisted just last week on CNN that the effort to prevent citizens from voting for Trump is a very embodiment of democracy. This is democracy in action. This is what he said, quote, "If you think about it, of all the forms of disqualification that we have, the one that disqualifies people for engaging in insurrection is the most democratic because it's the one where people choose themselves to be disqualified. That is akin to treating every criminal charge as a consensual act of incarceration because the accused chose his path of life, right? This is also being played out in state races. The filing against Perry came the same day Pennsylvania Democratic State Senator Art Haywood made a public comment to the Senate Ethics Committee against his Republican colleague Doug Mastriano, accusing him of playing a role in the plot to overturn the election. So really, I had joked about city council. We're starting to get there very quickly. Now we're talking about state senators. Notably, in his effort to hold insurrectionists accountable, Haywood admitted he relied on the same evidence from Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington that was used in the Colorado case. Insurrectionist is the newest label to excuse any abuse. And remember, in this case, they get to define what an insurrectionist or an act of insurrection is. That's the important point. They do. During the McCarthy period, individuals were accused of being communists or fellow travelers. Now you have Stilp accusing Perry of being supportive of insurrectionists. Democrats and pundits have claimed civil libertarians and journalists who have testified against the government's growing censorship efforts are enablers of insurrectionists and even Putin lovers. These Democratic members and activists vividly demonstrated this unfounded theory's dangerous implications. Figures like Stilp are wrong on the law, but right about one thing. There are few real limits once you embrace this theory. If the challenges work, there is no reason they can't be used unilaterally against any candidate. and without any criminal charges, let alone conviction. So no criminal charges, let alone a conviction, can be used against any candidate for essentially of just supporting the former president. It is instantly both self-executing and self-satisfying. It would put the world's most successful democracy on a slippery slope to political chaos. Yes, going back to the point that it's a real threat to democracy. That is why the Supreme Court needs to take up this issue and put this theory to bed once and for all. Until the court rejects this anti-democratic ploy, activists eager to win elections through the courts will keep using it, and it will metastasize throughout our body politics. With the support of elected officials across the country, they could then join Stilp in moving from burning flags to torching the Constitution in a fit of exhilarating rage. That was Jonathan Turley. I thought it was an important point, but also just proving the fact of what we had mentioned, this idea that it will not stop with just Trump. And we saw instantly where the other side was going to talk about using it. And now we have it going down to congressional races and state senator races. We've got to take a break, though. I am running late. Kind of one of those tangent mornings, so stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now is the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Is your closet cramped and cluttered? Well, now there's Space Triangles, the clever new hanging device that fits over any hanger to save you closet space in seconds. And now may be your last chance to get them for a low price. Now you can vertically hang multiple items, guaranteeing that you'll have up to 70% more space in your closet. Your closet can go from messy to marvelous in no time with ease. The ingenious slip-over design secures the hangers vertically. It snugly fits all types of hangers to save you space. Order now to get an 18-piece set of Space Triangles for just $9.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get Space Triangles at this low price. There is a strict limit of 1 closet pack per order while supplies last. Once they're gone forever. Order now.
Call 1-800-959-5414. Call or visit spacetriangles.com. So call 1-800-959-5414 now.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Thank you again for joining us here on Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live from the beautiful Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street. Okay, we're getting away from the last topic, but I want to give you more information on what I had mentioned. President Joe Biden, this coming from the Associated Press. President Joe Biden is starting the campaign year by evoking the Revolutionary War to mark the 3rd anniversary of the deadly insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, and visiting the South Carolina church where a white gunman massacred black parishioners, seeking to present in the starkest possible terms an election he argues could determine the fate of American democracy. Some in the past would have maybe called it fear-mongering in the political sense, trying to scare, because as it has been said, and many in his circle, I know on anonymity, so take it with a grain of salt, but not very happy that he was trying to run on his record, because when he did that, it failed miserably. so they want him to run anti-Trump. On Saturday, Biden will travel to near Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, where George Washington and the Continental Army spent a bleak winter nearly 250 years ago. There, he'll decry former President Trump for the riot by a mob of his supporters who overran the Capitol in an attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Interesting that the AP uses the word riot. Sometimes you will see insurrection trying to plant that seed. But anyway, 2 days later, President Biden will visit Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, where 9 people were shot and killed in a June 2015 white supremacist attack. Biden is kicking off 2024 by delving into some of the country's darkest moments rather than an upbeat affirmation of his record. It is meant to clarify for voters what his team sees as the stakes of November's election. I don't think it comes as a surprise. Actually, Julio Chavez Rodriguez, who is Biden's re-election campaign manager, says, "We are running a campaign like the fate of our democracy depends on it, because it does." And we've heard that talking point used quite a bit. We're running it because it does. So we will hear a lot more of that. I just wanted to give you a little more update on it because I know I glanced over it quickly early in the program. We're going to talk about, well, we only have a little bit here about Biden. We're going to get to the Republicans. Boy, a lot more to talk about. We are running a little bit late. Again, number on your bottom of the screen. Reach out at any time. We received a lot of great messages. They went a little fast here. Thank you, by the way, to anybody that reaches out. Sometimes I can get to them. Sometimes I can't. It just depends on how busy we are and how off topic I get. But I always read them, and I always appreciate the gesture of you taking the time to send them in. All right, let's take another break. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Make carbines simple when you drive your deal at Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Emerald here, and I'm so excited to tell you about my French door air fryer 360. Extra large 26-quart capacity. Cook with up to 70% less calories from fat than deep frying. That's a big deal, my friend. 360 degrees of superheated air gives you fast, even cooking. My 10-in-1 French door air fryer 360 grills, air fries, dehydrates, roasts, bakes, broils, proofs, slow cooks, and toasts. This baby does it all. These French doors are a game changer. Look at how easy that is.
Now find out how you can try Emerald Lagasse's French Door Air Fryer 360 with 3 cooking tiers, fetch tool, air frying rack, and drip tray in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. Order now and you'll also get Emerald's Air Fryer Favorites recipe book. And we'll automatically upgrade you to our bonus cooking kit free. Plus, find out how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so call or click now to order.
You're gonna love it. I guarantee it.
Video for a commercial used to be extremely expensive, but not anymore. WYDC TV Big Fox now offers the Twin Tiers amazing aerial video for your business. We do it with our state-of-the-art drone and commercially licensed aerial pilot. Beautiful HD aerial video and pictures custom-made for your commercial. Call or email now to advertise on Big Fox TV and let everyone see your business in a whole new way.
It's all types to play Family Feud. The Blunt Mama.
If you knew Steve Harvey was at your door, you'd answer it wearing what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Weeknights at 7 and 7:30 on Big Fox.
Bit of snow falling. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on Big Fox. We got a lot of comments. One person, I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing and kind of condensing it, but saying, will voting rights be next? Meaning if someone can be thrown off the ballot because some other person deems them an insurrectionist And luckily, the person that deems them an insurrectionist gets to also define what insurrectionist means. Could they also say, okay, you supported Trump. You had the sign in your yard. So you're not going to be able to vote. You're just as guilty as him without any due process, without any charges. Will that be? That's the thing with slippery slopes. You never know how far it's going to go. Normally, when you can think of an extreme, someone else has thought about it before you and is already getting the everything in motion. And I mean that seriously. I know in the past when woke was talked about, I mean, I know it's still talked about, but when people would say, what's the next crazy thing? This? And if you could think of it, if I could think of it, then someone else has also thought of it. But they're thinking about it from a serious standpoint. Same here. Could that be a next step? It could very well be. Well, time will tell. We'll report on it here when we start hearing. Another person saying, using Democrat logic, Texas could remove Joe from their ballot for not securing the border. You know, actually, yes, that's what Ron DeSantis has been saying, interestingly enough. That was kind of his talking point right away. So, yes, that would be what some are starting to push, just to show, when DeSantis does, I think, just to show the hypotheticals of where this could lead, or really how hypocritical it is. The Democrat Party is going this direction. But the other side, in this case, whether it's in Pennsylvania or the congressional race, is taking it seriously. They're not talking in hypothetics. But anyway, the U.S. education official has resigned over Biden's Israel-Gaza policy. I cannot stay silent. A senior official in the U.S. Education Department stepped down Wednesday, citing President Joe Biden's handling of the conflict in Gaza, the latest sign of dissent in the administration as deaths continue to grow in the war. This coming from Reuters. Also, I did not hear about this. I'll be full disclosure. I just heard about this morning. 17 Biden re-election campaign staffers issued a warning in an anonymous letter that Biden could lose voters over the issue. Now, I know we've talked about this in the past. It makes me nervous. We know behind closed doors at fundraisers, Biden has been a little more weak-kneed, so to speak, against Israel. Not that full-throated support as we've seen in public. So if you start to have anonymous staffers, re-election campaign staffers, if you start seeing, and you've seen a lot of it, almost threats from various parties throughout the country saying, party leaders, saying, you're losing votes on this. Will he start, because his poll numbers are down, will we start to see him caving on this? Now, the 17 anonymous Biden re-election campaign staffers, in their letter published on Medium, urged Biden to call for ceasefire in Gaza. Quote, Biden for president staff have been volunteers. I've seen volunteers quit in droves, and people who have voted blue for decades feel uncertain about doing so for the first time ever because of this conflict. Wow. That's amazing to see that the Democratic Party has went down that road so quickly. Not because of, you could say since October 7th till today, but it seems as if this is not a new trend. This has been a long time coming, apparently. But anyway, wanted to get over that issue with Biden. How am I doing on time, actually? Let me look. I don't have my clock up. We have to take a break. We're going to talk about the polls with Hallie and DeSantis. I know there is it tonight, the CNN debate between the two, and then a town hall on Fox with the former president. So that's coming right up. We'll talk just a little bit about that. Yes, this is the end, getting towards the end of the show where we move very quickly and try to get through as much as we can. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
When I was in law school, my father had to stop working when he developed early Alzheimer's. Social Security disability benefits saved my parents financially. I'm Peter Gorton of Lockman & Gorton. Now I'm a lawyer who helps people when they need Social Security disability. If you can't work, I'd like to help.
For a free consultation, call Lockman & Gorton toll-free 1-800-698-0567.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now and get this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. This book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And if you call right now, as a bonus, we'll throw in a free annuity rate report. We've researched over 1,200 annuities summarizing the rates and benefits for you. So don't miss out on this opportunity because supplies are limited. Call now and find out how you can get up to 33% more income in your retirement, and you'll receive Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report as an added bonus. Both books are yours free, just for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-354-5972. That's 800-354-5972. Again, 800-354-5972.
We are back, frankly speaking, here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. According to 538, and that's the national polling average that they put together, Nikki Haley has surpassed Ron DeSantis for the first time in the 2024 campaign. It's not a lot, but gaining momentum. They will be duking it out as they try to make this a horse race somehow. Even the headlines always saying, wow, look at this. But then you look at the numbers, and Trump's still up by, 30, 40, 50 points. According to an Economist YouGov poll, President Biden ties with Trump, but leads Haley and DeSantis. Boy, these things flip around a lot, don't they? This coming again from Economist YouGov poll. Biden 44, Trump 44. Biden DeSantis 44 Biden, DeSantis 41, and Biden beats Haley 41 to 36. But according to this, just as at the GOP level, Trump gets 63% of the vote, DeSantis 14, and Haley. So you can see how much polls change from one to another. Chris Christie said on The View, which is the first red flag of what Chris Christie is trying to do here. It's more about, of course, attacking Trump, but also when this is all over, maybe getting a more permanent gig on a MSNBC, a CNN. In an interview on The View, he said he would not pardon Trump. No. As governor, I issued pardons. And one of the things you have to do is look at the person. The person has to accept responsibility for what they did. Do you think Donald Trump will ever accept responsibility for anything he did? It'd be really the easiest pardon decision I would have to make as president. You don't accept responsibility? Too bad. Go to jail. That's Chris Christie. We've got to take another short break. A little bit more on this. I'm going to go really quickly in this last segment. This is our last break, so stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking.
Come fish Lake Erie. Walleye, muskellunge, lake trout, perch, bass, steelhead. Come fish Lake Erie. Watch Sundays at 11 a.m. on MyTV.
Hey, Emerald Lagasse here, and I'm so excited to tell you about my biggest air fryer yet.
Introducing Emerald Lagasse's Dual Zone Air Fryer Oven with dual-sided cooking chambers. Now you can cook 2 different foods 2 different ways that finish at the same time. Enjoy juicy grilled burgers at the same time as air-fried French fries. Broiled savory salmon at the same time as roasted asparagus. The secret is in the QuickSync technology that matches the cooking times and settings of each food, so they're programmed to finish at the same time. But watch, remove the center divider and it transforms into a large 25-quart capacity oven. Now you can try Emerald Lagasse's Dual Zone Air Fryer Oven with free recipe book in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. But wait, we'll automatically upgrade you to his deluxe cooking kit and 1-year VIP protection plan absolutely free, complete with everything you need to cook Monday to Sunday family-size meals. Plus, ask how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so order now.
You're gonna love it, I guarantee it.
In a game of few words, Urkel, glasses, nerd. It pays to know your nerds.
If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show,
25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5 and 5:30.
Thank you for joining us here on Frankly Speaking as we wrap things up. Boy, this went fast. Top Republican House leaders have all endorsed Trump for president. I want to pass that along to you quickly. House Whip Tom Emmer announced yesterday that he is backing the former president. He went on X, which is formerly Twitter, and I guess we're going to have to say that forever. Quote, Democrats have made clear that they will use every tool in their arsenal to try and keep Joe Biden and his failed policies in power. We cannot let them. It's time for Republicans to unite behind our party's clear frontrunner, which is why I'm proud to endorse Donald J. Trump for president. Oh, we just received a message. Hopefully I can read it quickly. I think Chris, meaning Chris Christie, needs to remove himself from the spotlight or Republican Party. He's only serving himself and the Democrat Party. And I think, if I'm being honest, I think he kind of likes that niche. I know former Congressman Joe Semplinsky and I talked about that, I believe, on one of the episodes. I believe it was Joe. And that Chris Christie is looking out for Chris Christie. And that's been the case perhaps his whole career, you could say. It's very Mitt Romney-esque as well. There's an interesting piece, if you have an opportunity, in the New York Post by Adam Coleman saying Claudine Gay, meaning the former president of Harvard, plays the victim as she avoids accountability for her fraud. It's a very interesting point. I forgot, and I missed this too. When she announced that she was stepping down, she said, "This is not a decision I came to easily." How many times have we heard that lately? It was the same essential statement made by the Colorado court and then in Maine. I don't know, is that the new, well, if you didn't come by it easy. Okay, that's weird. It's not an easy decision. Okay, Harvard is standing by their board chair. The Harvard Corporation's senior fellow, Penny Pritzker, will stay put for now as calls for her ouster grow following the immediate resignation of Claudine Gay as Harvard president on Tuesday. So there's some push from some mega donors, some big names to get her out as well. By the way, House Speaker Mike Johnson knocked Biden for the catastrophe at the border as he visited the Texas border with, I think they said 60 other Republicans. I tried to look for a list. I did not find that list. But House Speaker Mike Johnson criticized Joe Biden on Wednesday for the mayhem he witnessed at the U.S.-Mexico border. He was on CNN with Jake Tapper. This catastrophe can come to an end if the Biden administration will do its job, and they refuse to do it. He traveled with 60 House Republicans. Johnson said, this is not about sending more money down here. It's about changing the policy, and the White House seems to not understand that. You can't just pick and choose single policy changes like reforms to asylum rules, Johnson said, and expect they're going to solve the problem. Oh, man, we are out of time. Oh, Governor Greg Abbott. I like Greg Abbott because he's a tough talker. Out of Texas, he's being sued by the Biden administration over the migrant arrest law that their police can arrest illegal migrants. He said, I'll take my chances, meaning with a lawsuit. All right. Oh, Israel continues intensive battles in Gaza as fears of war spreading grows after the senior Hamas leader was killed. We'll try to keep you updated. We are out of time, though. We'll try to keep you updated on that tomorrow. This has been a great show. Thank you to so many people that reached out. It's not too late. You can reach out to us at the end of the program throughout the day as well. Let us know what you think, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with Frankly Speaking. Thank you for joining us this morning, and join us tomorrow at 7, only on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready, we're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks are a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen One, the portable oxygen concentrator you can take almost anywhere.
With this little device, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
The Inogen One is so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen One for 30 days completely risk-free. Give us a call right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days completely risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen One system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 1-800-929-7290. Again, that's 1-800-929-7290.